Okay, we have to talk about it. We have to talk about Joe Biden again and about how the media purposely failed in its job. I mean, one could say that they are stupid. They did this on purpose. People were just following the orders. But George Snuffleupagus, I mean, George Stephanopoulos, and no, I don't have to give him respect because he was part of the Clinton campaign. He was part of the Clinton establishment. And he is one of the many, many individuals that helped push forward and uplift the neoliberal policies of first name Bill, last name Clinton. Had a sit down exclusive interview with the president of these United States, Joe 30330 Biden. And no, it wasn't live on all social media. It wasn't live on cable television. It wasn't even live on the radio. It was recorded. Now, if I wanted to be a suspicious person, if I want to put my tinfoil hat on, step aside everybody else, because my tinfoil hat is the best, one could argue that some stuff was probably edited out because maybe Joe Biden didn't look like he was all there. But listen, I've done my fair share of editing videos and doing commentary and everything else, and I am by far no way the world's greatest editor. I am not, but I do know editors who have done great work, and I do know a couple people who really did this their profession. But there's no amount of editing that can make Joe Biden look competent. And this whole interview that he did with Snuffleupagus, I mean George Stephanopoulos, it was terrible again. The media, especially in 2020, purposely built their shield wall, working alongside with the Democratic establishment to make sure that we get the senile old goat to become president of the United States. Democrats, I have no idea how you're going to compose yourselves on election night. On the one hand, I want to see the meltdowns. On the other hand, please be serious. I will get secondhand embarrassment by so many liberals and people screaming, "Why did Biden lose?" It's because the media and the Democratic establishment and nutless wonders like Bernie Sanders, AOC, and all these progressive movements helped uplift him and put him on that pedestal. But you don't have to believe me. 2 minutes in the interview, and it's already looking bad. You don't have to believe me. Listen through your own ears yourselves, see it with your own eyes, and talk about it with your friends and family members. But be sure to hug a liberal because they're not okay.
Debate. You and your team have said you had a bad night, but your friend Nancy Pelosi actually framed the question that I think is on the minds of millions of Americans. Was this a bad episode or the sign of a more serious condition?
It's a bad episode. No indication of any serious condition. I was exhausted. I didn't listen to my instincts in terms of preparing, and I had a bad night.
You know, you say you were exhausted, and I know you've said that before as well, but you came, and you did have a tough month, but you came home from Europe about 11 or 12 days before the debate, spent 6 days in Camp David. Why wasn't that enough rest time, enough recovery time?
Because I was sick. I was feeling terrible.
Okay. Excuses after excuses. You know what? Excuses are like a-holes, okay? Everyone's got them. They all stink. Oh, I was too tired. Oh, I was over-prepared. Oh, I was sick. Oh, no. Somebody crapped my pants. Excuse after excuse. I mean, let's face it. Let's say I entered into a basketball competition. I'm playing off against people who've really put their heart and soul into basketball and playing it, right? And I go in there and I get my ass kicked. And I come out saying excuse after excuse. Oh, yeah, man, it was just an off day. Oh, yeah, it was just, yeah, you know what? I just felt like going easy on it. No, you listen, people. The president of the United States, Joe Biden, is on a mental decline. And he entered into a debate, and everyone knowing full well that he is not there. Mentally, emotionally, spiritually, he's not there. He's not physically present. This is excuse after excuse after excuse. He was overprepared. He was sick. He was tired. It was an off day. I don't want to hear that jazz. All these politicians are all one the same. Telling the truth is an anathema to them.
The fact the docs with me, I asked if they did a COVID test because they were trying to figure out what's wrong. They did a test to see whether or not I had some infection, a virus. I didn't. They just had a really bad cold.
And did you ever watch the debate afterwards?
I don't think I did, no.
Well,
You don't think you did? No. I got to stop pausing or we're going to be here all day.
want to get at is what were you experiencing as you were going through the debate? Did you know how badly it was going?
Yeah, look, the whole way I prepared, nobody's fault, mine. Nobody's fault but mine. I prepared what I usually would do, sitting down, as I did come back with foreign leaders or the National Security Council, for explicit detail. And I realized about partway through that, although I get quoted, the New York Times had me down at 10 points before the debate, 9 now, or whatever the hell it is. The fact of the matter is that what I looked at is that he also lied 28 times. The way the debate ran, not my fault, nobody else's fault. No one else's fault.
But it seemed like you were having trouble from the first question in, even before he spoke.
It gets worse from here. But I want to pull up this article from RT just to trigger the libs. And listen, you know what? I know I've been very arrogant. I've been very smug towards the liberals because they've been smug towards me, and they've been arrogant and disrespectful towards me, Harlan's Media, my colleague Daniel, and everybody in independent media, and yes, to even you. Now, do two wrongs make a right? Sometimes it does. That's the way the world is. Life, in general, sometimes it's a fight in a mud pit, trying to grab a knife so you can take out your opponent, okay? And liberals, since 2016 up until now, you guys were farting around, laughing, talking down to, bullying, harassing third parties, independents, progressives, people who actually want to do some good. And now everything's finally begun to hatch out. And I'm enjoying this rather panic that you guys are having because, oh no, goodness gracious, Biden says every day is a cognitive test for him. Hey, let's have democracy in the chat. Since every day is a cognitive test for Biden, how do you think he's doing? Type 1 for Kit. That's the commander-in-chief of the United States of America. He's doing just fine, you awful man. You are really smug and arrogant. Hashtag I'm unsubscribing. A type 2, man, he's failing every day, man. Come on. That's not a question. You're being a little mean here, Kit. Your behavior's starting to rub off on the audience, and everybody's being mean with mean comments. But we love you for it. I wonder how many 2s will be in the chat. I wonder. And it's not that I'm rigging the election or rigging the voting. I'm just giving you guys very clear, simple choices. Option 1 or option 2. Option 2 is far better. U.S. President Joe Biden tried to dispel concerns over his age and cognitive abilities after his lackluster performance during last week's debate against Donald Trump in an interview with ABC News on Friday. ABC News, which is owned by Disney, the Walt Disney Corporation. No one asked good old Walt Disney what he thought of first name Adolf, last name Hitler, and his fantastic friends in the Third Reich. I'd really love to see that one day. Somebody actually do like a film or TV version of good old Walt and how he really was. In the highly anticipated sit-down with George Stephanopoulos, the 81-year-old leader explained the debate fiasco as entirely my fault, no one else's fault. Oh, it's your fault and everybody else, insisting that it was simply a bad episode because he was exhausted and sick with a bad cold. Somebody stubbed his toe. He crapped his pants. Hey, who crapped his bed? So many things went wrong. But I do want to pull this up here because he was asked if he was the same man as he was 4 years ago. We here at Hardlands Media, during the 2020 primaries, especially in 2019 when the primaries were really getting started, myself and my team, we called out Joe Biden not being there. And we got a lot of shite for it. We were one of the many few that were saying, hey, something's wrong with Biden. He never was there. And in comparison to where he was 4 years ago and to where he is now, it is night and day. But I just want to be clear here. He was on that decline in 2020, and it's worse now. So let's go ahead and play this video.
But part of the other concern is that this seems to have fit into a pattern of decline that has been reported on recently. New York Times had a headline on July 2nd, Biden's lapses are said to be increasingly common and worrisome. Here's what they wrote. People who have spent time with President Biden over the last few months or so said the lapses appear to have grown more frequent, more pronounced, and after Thursday's debate, more worrisome. By many accounts, as evidenced by video footage, observation, and interviews, Mr. Biden is not the same today as he was even when he took office 3.5 years ago. Similar reporting in the Washington Post and the Wall Street Journal. Are you the same man today that you were when you took office 3.5 years ago?
In terms of successes, yes.
Oh, he still has to lie. And yes, I understand the volume's a little bit low on this one. When I edit this video, I will be raising up the volume and audio so people can hear it just a little bit better. I do apologize for it, but he still has to lie. He's not the same man. And look, just to be clear here, when I one day reach my 80s, if I live that long, I don't think I will, but if I do, I will not be the same man I was 40 years from now. I'll be two different people altogether.
I also was the guy who put together a peace plan for the Middle East that may be coming to fruition. I was also the guy that expanded NATO. I was also the guy that grew the economy.
Grew the economy to favor the rich, expanded NATO to have a proxy war between the United States and Russia that's happening in Ukraine. And yeah, pretty much this is the guy who has systematically made sure that nothing would fundamentally change, but would make sure that everything would get progressively worse.
Individual things that were done were ideas I had or I fulfilled. I moved on. And so, for example, well, that was true then. What's Biden done lately? Just today, just announced 200,000 new jobs. We're moving in a direction that no one's ever taken on. I know you know this from the days in the government. I took on Big Pharma. I beat them. No one said I could beat them. I took on all the things we said we got done. We were told we couldn't get done. And part of it is
Medicare for all, student debt forgiveness, stopping the regime change wars and coups in Central and South America, ending the war on drugs, investing in our infrastructure, stopping corruption. When did you do those things, sir? Because progressives were asking for a lot, and all we got was a middle finger from Bernie Sanders, your nutless cuck friend, who sold out his entire political movement, which is what Bernie did. Remember that. I know a lot of you might have fond memories from 20. I still have some fond memories from 2016 and 2020, back when there was still hope. But he sold us out. He never was who he said he was. And Russell from Due Dissidence perfectly. I forget which live stream it was, but it really broke down how much of a nutless wonder Bernie Sanders was and still is to this day.
Is what I said when I ran was I want to do three things: restore some decency to the office, restore some support for the middle class instead of trickle-down economics built from the middle out and the bottom up, the way the wealthy still do fine, everyone does better, and unite the country.
Unite the country. But when asked if he has a neurologist to do an examination, no one said I had to. No one said he had to.
I know your doctor said he consulted with a neurologist. I guess I'm asking a slightly different question. Have you had the specific cognitive tests, and have you had a neurologist, a specialist, do an examination?
No one said I had to. No one said. They said I'm good.
That's not what some whistleblowers are saying in the White House. That's not what independent media has been saying for years now. Even the most diehard vote blue, no matter who people, I know you guys are panicking right now, and trust me on it. I'm enjoying you guys crying. That doesn't make me a good person, but it's fine, because you know what? I don't care. I don't care if Trump wins the presidency or not, but it's just priceless to know that so many of you gave up your dignity to go to bat for a senile old goat. It's hilarious to me.
To the American people.
but more on his cognitive ability and whether he's all there.
Would you be willing to undergo an independent medical evaluation that included neurological and cognitive tests and release the results to the American people?
Look, I have a cognitive test every single day. Every day I have that test. Everything I do. You know, not only am I campaigning, but I'm running the world. And that's not how it sounds like hyperbole. But we are the essential nation in the world. I don't know if that was right.
We are the essential nation in the world. We are Rome, the Roman Empire. And this is what? How would we describe Joe Biden? Is he Romulus Augustus? No, not yet. He's not our Romulus Augustus, but he's probably one of the failures, one of the fraud emperors, one of the fools. But the man says he has a cognitive test every single day, and he's failing every single day.
And every single day, for example, today, before I come out here, I'm on the phone with the Prime Minister of, anyway, I shouldn't get into detail, but.
Prime Minister of who? You're not going to get into detail. Hold on. You're going to use it as a reference. Say that again, Joe.
And every single day, for example, today, before I come out here, I'm on the phone with the Prime Minister of, anyway, I shouldn't get into detail, but with Netanyahu. I'm on the phone with the new Prime Minister of England. I'm working on what we're doing with regard to in Europe, with regard to expansion of NATO and whether it's going to stick. I'm taking on Putin. I mean, every day, there's no day I go through, they're not those decisions I have to make every single day.
And you have been doing that, and the American people have been watching, yet their concerns about your age and your health are growing. So that's why I'm asking, to reassure them, would you be willing to have the independent medical evaluation?
Watch me there's a lot of time left in this campaign. It's over 125 days.
So the
answer, decision.
The right answer right now is no, you don't want to do that right now.
No, I've already done it.
He's not going to do it. He's not going to do anything like that at all. Just want to pull up this other one here again. Why he's not committing to a neurological exam.
I know you said you have an ongoing assessment. Have you had a full neurological and cognitive evaluation?
I get a full neurological test every day with me. And I've had a full physical. I had, I've been at Walter Reed for my physicals. I mean, yes. The answer is
I know your doctor said he consulted with a neurologist. I guess I'm asking a slightly different question.
Now, this is the same video, but the reason why I'm playing this one again, and the reason why I want to share it with all of you, is because when you have your chief executive, your commander, your CEO, you have to look at them as the person that's going to guide the ship, the business, the entity, the organization to the finish line and to continue to be a success. Now, a long time ago, let's rewind back the clocks. You had Rush Limbaugh many years ago say that he wanted to see Obama fail. And since then, you've seen many conservative and liberal pundits, each here and there saying that they want to see the Republican or Democrat president fail. And that's our two-party system. That's how corporate media has divided us. But in all reality, the truth is, you don't want to see the president of the United States fail. It is in everyone's interest that the president succeeds and in turn makes all of our lives better. That's how it should work in a perfect world. Now, what I'm describing here is non-existent here in the United States. Our president is not here with us. He is not there mentally. He has clearly shown so many signs of him suffering from advanced decline. Our president isn't running the show. And as I reported on yesterday's live stream, many of his aides are saying that he's only fully aware between the hours of 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. Jesus Christ, he makes Big Red look like an absolute professional. Big Red's working hours from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And that was from a movie, for Christ's sakes. Nonetheless, our president is incapable of understanding what's happening at every single minute of every single second. And we have somebody who's 81 years old. Should he win a second term, he'll be 86 years old. Now, yes, are there senior citizens who are very sharp and well aware of their surroundings? Absolutely. Joe Biden is not one of them. This isn't open for a discussion. He is not one of them. He is on the decline.
Have you had the specific cognitive tests, and have you had a neurologist, a specialist, do an examination?
No one said I had to. No one said, they said I'm good.
Would you be willing to undergo an independent medical evaluation that included neurological and cognitive tests and release the results to the American people?
Look, I have a cognitive test every single day. Every day I have that test. Everything I do. You know, not only am I campaigning, but I'm running the world. And that's not how it sounds like hyperbole. But we are the essential nation in the world. Madeleine Albright was right.
But if you want to hear ego and pride, Joe Biden, who'd you take down and who'd you put down?
And I don't want to dispute that. I don't want to debate that. But as you know, elections are about the future, not the past. They're about tomorrow, not yesterday. And the question on so many people's minds right now is, can you serve effectively for the next 4 years?
George, I'm the guy that put NATO together, the future.
He put NATO together, the future. Last I checked, I think NATO was existing long before you became president of the United States. You know, NATO kind of came after this event. None of you ever heard of it. It's not that important. It's called World War II. Don't worry. No need to look into it. But that's when NATO kind of had the aftermath of World War II. It's kind of like this event that happened, you know, big old fight, you know, that kind of thing.
No one thought I could expand it. I'm the guy that shut Putin down. No one thought could happen. I'm the guy that put together the South Pacific Initiative with AUKUS. I'm the guy that got 50 nations, not only in Europe, outside of Europe as well, to help Ukraine. I'm the guy that got Japanese to expand their budget. And for example, when I decided we used to have 40% of the computer chip, and we invented the chip, that little chip, the computer chip. It's in everything from cell phone to weapon.
Yes, it's a computer chip. You heard that. Hold on. Just so you guys can hear that again. I understand that the volume is very low on this. I will edit this clip and make sure that the volume is very high once I go in post-production.
Great. I'm the guy that got Japanese to expand their budget. For example, when I decided we used to have 40% of the computer chip, and we invented the chip, that little chip, the computer chip. It's in everything from cell phone to weapons. And so we used to have 40%, and we're down to virtually nothing. So I get in the plane against the advice of everybody, and I fly to South Korea. I convinced them to invest in the United States, billions of dollars. Now we have tens of billions of dollars being invested in the United States, making us back in a position where we're going to own that industry again. We have, anyway, I don't want to.
You know, when he goes that, anyways, you know, I've heard this from older people who are in decline too. You know, when they're telling a story, they start to rant and rumble, and then they get tired and be like, "Yeah, anyway," and then they stop. They say stop talking. It's just like this is elder abuse. I mean, are there any adults in the building? The people see it. I don't care where you stand politically. And before any liberal types in the comment section, oh, you're a progressive. Why are you being so mean to Biden? You need to support him. First of all, I don't support Joe Biden. Okay? Joe Biden is a corporate sellout and is one of the many architects, one of the many politicians, Democrat and Republican, that helped create this neoliberal nightmare that we are in. He doesn't get my sympathy. I'm getting secondhand embarrassment. Well, hold on. You want to talk about pride? This is liberal pride right here. And I have to give credit to George Stephanopoulos. He kind of checks Biden. Kind of.
What's your plan to turn the campaign around?
You saw it today. How many people do you get draw crowds like I drew today? You find me any more enthusiastic than today? Huh?
I mean, I don't think you want to play the crowd game. Donald Trump can draw big crowds. There's no.
Oh, Donald Trump can draw big crowds. You know what that means? That's
Oof, 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 oof.
had to bring that Coca-Cola classic back. Say again, George Stephanopoulos.
I don't think you want to play the crowd game. Donald Trump can draw big crowds. There's no question about that. What's your plan?
Donald Trump can draw those big crowds. But there's more, folks. So much more. This whole interview, I could say it since I watched it from beginning to end, because these are just some clips. These are just some highlight clips from the whole interview. You could check it out, obviously, if you want to give ABC your time. But the interview didn't do Biden any favors.
The other concern is that this seems to have fit into a pattern of decline that has been reported on recently. New York Times had a headline on July 2nd, Biden's lapses are said to be increasingly common and worrisome. Here's what they wrote. People who have spent time with President Biden over the last few months or so said the lapses appear to have grown more frequent, more pronounced, and after Thursday's debate, more worrisome. By many accounts, as evidenced by video footage, observation, and interviews, Mr. Biden is not the same today as he was even when he took office 3.5 years ago. Similar reporting in the Washington Post and the Wall Street Journal.
And I wanted to circle back to that because that's the problem that the media now has to own up to. Corporate media, ABC, CBS, MSNBC, CNN, New York Times, Washington Post, and hey, all those online media outlets like Vice, BuzzFeed, Vox, all you bastards. You guys were going to bat hard for Joe Biden, making sure that he defeated the orange boogeyman, Donald Trump. But I said that he was going to come back. I said that Trump was going to come back after the 2020 election, and everybody gave me a whole lot of shit. Everybody said that I didn't know what I was talking about. And the thing is, I could be as arrogant about this as possible. I could be as prideful about this as possible because I was proven correct. And here is the same president after this previous debate that he was in. Or it took place before the interview. My fault on that. But this is Joe Biden saying, number one, how he vows to beat Trump again in 2020. You don't have to believe me, folks. Here's his own words. Ladies and gentlemen, the President of these United States.
You voted for me to be your nominee. No one else. You, the votes. The voters did that. And despite that some folks don't seem to care who you voted for, well, guess what? They're trying to push me out of the race. No! Well, let me say this clearly as I can. I'm staying in the race.
Oh, boy. Thank you. Thank you. I need to see the liberal panic more. Thank you, Joe. You know, I wanted this election cycle to be entertaining, and it's not disappointing me whatsoever. This is not the most important one, but it's the most entertaining, hilarious, and inspirational in my eyes.
I'll beat Donald Trump. I will beat him again in 2020.
Oh, liberals, for your mental sake, you better be praying to whatever God you worship, liberals, that you don't have a meltdown, because if this man loses, I see you guys just panicking.
Well, by the way, we're going to do it again in 2024. I learned long
Yo, we're going to do it again in 2024. Okay, you had to cover that one, huh?
ago. When you get knocked down, you get back up. And I'm not letting one 90-minute debate wipe out 3.5 years of work. As the governor said, I've led this nation from the depths of pandemic to the strongest economy in the world, and that's literally true. And I and you are not finished yet. And you probably also noticed, A lot of discussion about my age.
Because he's a senile old goat and he's going to lose. But there's more to this. The fact that MSNBC, I don't know what they were thinking when they said this or how they were trying to perceive this. And no, I'm not going to be mature about this. I'm not going to be good about this. This is MSNBC hyping up an old man that's lost and confused in the woods.
After video, cheap fakes saying that Joe Biden can't walk straight, he's feeble, doesn't know where he is. Now he's talking like President Biden is this master debater. Isn't Sleeping Joe his favorite tag name for the president?
Oh, MSNBC, never change.
What in the world's going on? Sources tell NBC News that President Biden's team is preparing him to get under Trump's skin if Trump starts the night more restrained than usual.
Now, this all took place in June, where Biden was being trained to be a master debater.
What do you think about that strategy? It sounds like Biden's going to rattle his cage.
To be a master debater. I'm sorry, man. Corporate media never change.
Oof. 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 Oof.
So what can we take away from the Snuffleupagus interview? The numbers are still falling for Joe Biden. Joe Biden, as a candidate for the Democratic Party, is causing panic amongst the donors. And as the liberals are going to learn the hard way, your vote, no matter what you did in the primaries, no matter how many times you canvass for the Democrats, doesn't matter because the donors are worried about their money. Democrats, your primary is pointless. Hell, the Republican primary was more Democratic than the Democratic primary, and that's not saying much. You got your superdelegates, you got your donors, you got political leadership, and all the Democratic leadership, all the high echelons of those associated with the DNC are concerned and panicking about overall, could Biden go all the way? Now, it all depends on voter turnout and voter enthusiasm, but you don't have what it takes. Your old dog is showing us every single day of every single minute that hard lens media, we were proven correct that Biden was on a decline. And since then, we have been saying this since day one. And there's no way, liberals, that you can argue against it because even corporate media, to the best of its ability, can't. Especially after that disastrous debate, and especially now after that disastrous interview that Biden did with George Snuffleupagus. I mean, George Stephanopoulos. Nothing can be done to change perception, and perception drives reality. And the truth is, the reality is that Biden is not in charge. He's only aware between 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. He loses train of thought. He's not there. He's tired. He's sleepy. He's sick. He has all these problems. We don't have to have an old dog in the White House. Now, does that mean Trump's any better? No. But Democrats, you've given Trump the pathway to become president again. Well done for being royal screw-ups. You think Kamala or any other choice is going to save the day? No. So I'll end this segment not with any serious talking points, not with anything prolific or anything that will inspire. I'll end this with a humorous note because I find this whole situation funny. I find it funny because it is funny. And all of you should find it funny. A legitimate political party is propping up a senile old goat. A legitimate political party is propping up a man who's on mental decline for the highest office of the land. So I'll end this segment, as I should, with humor. Kamala, take it away.
Do not come. Do not come.
Oh, I'm going to come.
I'm going to come to the overflow room.
Come election night, it's going to be hilarious. Grab the popcorn and witness people lose any sense of self-respect, and dignity. It'll be great.